Recording. Again, my name is Steve Murray. Welcome to our Social Security Claiming Strategies webinar. With us today is Dave Pimper. Dave is actually in-house, sitting right here next to me today, a little different, but so we'll be able to work back and forth if need be. A couple of things that you want to keep in mind as we get started here. First, if you have any questions, type them in and hit send, and we'll get them asked and answered as quickly as possible. Secondly, we will have a couple polls that will pop up during the course of today's webinar for expediency and to keep things moving along. Just answer those yes or no. You're not committing to anything when you answer yes or no to those poll questions, just letting us know where your interest lies. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully we'll get moving along here. Wanted to mention to you, so this year, right now we have on the docket 3 life and annuity academies. So those are 2-day training events. We take care of all the expenses associated with those training events. We also have a great docket of producers that come in and present at those meetings in addition to what you see there in front of you. So we talk about a lot of things. You know, obviously there's a lot of things going on in our industry right now. We're talking about DOL and so this industry news that goes on. There's all of the normal things that you are interested in, you know, seminar marketing, how to get in front of more people, how to grow your business, how to digitize some of the things and be more active online. And from a marketing standpoint, some great advanced sales topics on both the life and the annuity side. So we go through a lot of things, but what most people are interested in besides what we talk about is kind of what the focus of it is. And if you have been at one of our academies, which I'm looking at our attendees today, and I see many of you have, what you do know is that they're kind of more sales and marketing focused rather than product focused. So we do talk about some product because obviously to get the right products to fit your sales and marketing, that's very important. But in addition to that, having 4 top producers that make available what they do and how they do it, I think is really valuable. And we sprinkle those throughout this 2-day event. So here's effectively the way that those work for us. Generally, we start them on a Wednesday evening. So we'll fly you in. We'll start Wednesday evening. We'll have grab a little bit of dinner, and then that evening we'll go for about an hour and a half to 2 hours with one of our top producers, Dave. And in fact, usually Dave does, in that time frame, he does some of the Social Security claiming strategies and walks through his seminar on Social Security claiming. We talk about current events, and then the next morning we get up bright and early, have some breakfast, and we go all day that day. We'll talk a little bit of product there. We'll hear from 2 other top producers, one with seminars and one with a really specific product niche that's been a good fit for him. We'll be done that day, probably about 4:30. We'll have dinner, a little time for social activity, and then that next morning, Friday morning, we'll go about half a day, and we'll get you out back to your destination. So really, you're going to be out of your office and giving 3 days of out of office time. So it's no small commitment on your behalf, but the actual monetary part of it we take care of. So we're going to take care of your travel expenses. We're going to take care of your hotel expenses. We're going to take care of your food and drink while you're there as well. So you won't have any out-of-pocket expenses associated with it. You will get some great information from some top producers. You have a chance to get to meet a little bit of the IAMS family and see who we are and how we operate. And it's our hope that when we do that, if you don't know us already and you're still trying to decide to make a decision as to who you want to do business with, that's a great time to put a face with a name, great time to see how we operate, great time to see where the focus of our business is, which is really producer oriented. And so many of you that have been doing business with us for years know this already. Some of you that have been to academies in the past and kind of seen that, I think it's really helpful when you're doing business. It's such a big part of your bottom line. It's good to know the folks that you're doing business with. So there's multiple good reasons to come to and do an academy. I know that those of you that have been there before, we often get requests to come back again, and we do allow for that at times. If that's the case, if you've been to an academy in the last 24 months or so, but you might like to join us for one here in 2017, certainly let me know that. Put no as far as this poll is concerned, but then give me a call or hit me with an email here at the office, and I'll send you my email address here shortly as well. and just let me know you have interest, and we can talk about that. I like to give as many folks that have not been in and had a chance to meet us and had a chance to meet some of our top producers the chance to do that. But certainly I can understand why you might want to come back in for a refresher, but certainly willing to consider that. So I did just launch a poll. If you have interest in joining us for an academy here in 2017, click yes. What will happen if you do that is then you'll get a sample agenda, which will give you a real kind of a day-by-day, hour-by-hour breakdown of what we do during the academies. And then there'll also be a registration form. So if you look at the agenda, if you have some questions, give us a call. If you want to send a registration in, then what that'll do is let us know that you are an interested party. And as we have academies here throughout the year, we'll go ahead and give you a call. So really what you're doing by checking yes on the poll is saying, that I do have interest in being contacted when the next opportunity for an academy comes up. Right now, the next one that we will be having is coming up right about mid-May. We'll have another one for sure in November. Probably have one here in Omaha sometime in the summer as well. And so we'll have plenty of opportunities for you to come in and see us at one of the academies. It looks like most of you that are able to vote have voted, so I'm going to go ahead and close that out. If you are just listening online and so not able to vote, what I would like you to do is send me an email. My email address is Steve, S-T-E-V-E, at IAMSINC.com, and let me know that you have interest. I'll get you out the registration form. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this poll down. If you have any questions, if there's anything else that you want to chat about with that, certainly available to talk at your convenience. By the way, our number here is 800-255-5055. So with that, I'm going to close that poll out as I've just done. We'll get moved on here. I want to make sure, just looking at our attendees here today, we've got a number of you here with us that have recently licensed or not yet made the decision to license. So I want to make sure that you're aware of our new producer bonuses. There are bonuses that you can achieve at 3 different levels: the 100,000 point, 300,000 point, and 500,000 point level. Those point levels are dollar for dollar with annuity premium. So in other words, if you do $100,000 of annuity premium with us in your first 180 days, you've got some things that you can choose for, which you see there on the screen before you. Likely or similarly at the 300,000 and the 500,000 point levels, there's opportunities that you can choose. Today we're going to be talking about Social Security, and you'll probably note at the 500,000 level, our coach Dave Pimper has a seminar that he will make available to you. What we will do for purposes of Social Security claiming is that if you decide to claim your new producer bonus at the 500,000 point level, we will pay for your first mailing, which is 6,000 piece. We'll pay for your coaching, and we'll pay for your Social Security claiming kit through Horse's Mouth. So that's a very substantial value, as you can imagine. We're real believers in Social Security claiming, and we've seen it over and over again be successful. So we want to encourage that every way that we can, and that's I think a great way to get yourself started in the seminar business, all on IAMS. So take advantage of that new producer bonus to do that. I want to make sure, too, that you're aware ongoing is our qualification for our 2018 Top Producers Escape. We're going to go to the beautiful Boulders, which was voted the nicest resort or the best resort in Arizona by Travel and Leisure magazine. Great spot. You can see some of the images from there. They've got tennis, pools, little casitas with fireplaces where everybody stays, some world-class golf, and just beautiful views and just a great landscape that they have out there. We've been there a few times, so we know it well, and we always get great response from the guys. You can see what qualification is. It takes $2 million of annuity premium, 1.5 of single premium life, 175,000 of life target. Any business that you do with IAMS counts towards our Top Producers Escape. Qualification continues through the rest of this year, and we'll be joining you there in February of 2018, so I hope you'll take advantage of that. A couple other programs that I think you want to be aware of is the referred producer program. The referred producer program is our way of rewarding you for your referrals. We send out checks on a quarterly basis, some of the biggest checks that we send out, because the way that it works is quite simply when you refer an agent to us, he does business and you receive an override on that business. I say an override, that's actually not true. It doesn't override his business at all, simply dollars that we take out of our advertising budget, and instead of sending that money to somebody to do an email blast for us, to do a magazine ad or whatever else we might spend it on, we're going to spend it on you in appreciation for that referral, because bottom line, that's where we've gotten over the years, or 31 years in business, our best new relationships have come via your referrals. So we appreciate those greatly. Over the last 6 or 7 years, we've begun to reward them financially. And as I mentioned, some of the larger checks we send out are for producers that have been kind enough to refer other good producers to us. So thank you for that. Also want to make sure you're aware of our marketing reimbursement program. Pretty simple program. When you do business with us, we put money into your marketing reimbursement account, and then you can use that for anything that you do to grow your business, whether you're buying a computer, sending out mailings, doing seminars, taking clients out for dinner, whatever you're doing to grow your business, you can send in and get reimbursed for on our marketing reimbursement program. Internally, Shelby kind of keeps track of that for us, and in any given time, she can tell you what you have in your marketing reimbursement account. So a couple of ways that we send some dollars out to our producers and help them grow their business, and we know that any time that we can do that, that helps us in the long term as well. So we enjoy sending those checks out. Hopefully you'll take advantage of both of those programs. Wanted to make sure you're aware of our creative services, and you can see from the screen what we have there, different ways that we can help you. Bottom line is, what I say to folks is that our marketing department, the folks that help our agents with a lot of the things that they do every day to grow their business, they know your business or know our business very well. Now, they're going to take some time to specifically get to know your business as well before they put these marketing campaigns together for you. But the bottom line is they know our business, and they've done it for guys in the past. So if you're looking at spending money on advertising, looking at spending money on a website, looking at spending money on somebody to, do Facebook ads or help you with the Facebook, don't do it through a company that does not know your business. Do it through a company that knows your business. And by the way, we're doing that really at as low a possible cost as we can, whether it's radio advertising, TV, whether you're getting your website done, whatever it is, you're to do it through our firm and our folks there. They already know your business. We're doing it really at cost as much as we can. You can use marketing reimbursement dollars to do it, which is great, and you're going to get a great product that's very well fit to our particular industry. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that at any level. If you have some questions on that, you can call Jen here in our office, and she'll be glad to fill you in on ways that she can help grow your business. Wanted to make sure that you're all familiar with the IAMS Wealth Management. So mid last year, we established an RIA, and just really getting that up and running here right now. If you have interest in getting into the advice business as opposed to the commission business, or you want to add the advice business to what you do and be able to offer products outside of the guarantees of fixed and fixed indexed annuities, we've got a great way for you to do that. And if it's something that you're already in and you want to see how we compare fee-wise, I want you to contact Charles Hiring here in our office, and he'll be glad to walk you through what we're doing there. He can walk you through our platforms and how they work. He can walk you through the costs. He can walk you through our payouts and how we can help you grow that business. If you're just looking at getting into that business, maybe the DOL has got you thinking a little bit that maybe there's some things that you might need to do different, which it should at this point. I think the future is gaining some clarity there that to be able to offer products other than just annuities is going to add greatly to your business. And what we've seen already is the guys that are in that have their IARs and are working with other than annuities, their annuity business is actually greater as well. So it's a win-win situation. I'm going to launch a poll. If you have interest in hearing more about the IAMS Wealth Management RIA and how that works, what I want you to do is just click yes on that poll, and I'll have a little packet of information sent out to you. If you would prefer to have a conversation with Charles Hiring here in our office, it's kind of heading that up to kind of walk you through what we do, how we do it, how we compare to other RIAs in terms of fees and payouts. He'll be glad to do that as well. If you're just thinking, hey, listen to what you're saying here, I think maybe it's something that I should explore. We have probably about a third of the folks that are getting affiliated with our RIA. We have helped through the whole study and licensing process, so we've got that pretty well down to a science and can help you And in a lot of cases, we can also help you with the costs of that. So if any of those are of interest to you at all, I would encourage you to give us a call here today, or simply check yes on that poll, and we'll get you out a little packet. And then after you're looking at the packet, if you'd like to talk with Charles, you can do that. If you want to directly talk with Charles, hit yes on that poll, and then I'll give Charles your number, and he'll give you a call sometime here in the next day or two. So looks like we've got pretty good response, a lot of interest in the wealth management, which I think in this day and age, and given what's happened in our industry, I think is appropriate. For those of you that maybe are still wondering about whether this is a route that you want to take with your business, that's a good conversation to have right now, to kind of get in front of the wave instead of getting crushed by the wave. Thank you for your quick response on that. We appreciate that greatly. If you have any questions, if you want to chat more about it, give us a call, 800-255-5055. Okay, now I'm going to skip over this particular slide because we're running just a little bit behind. Let me just say one thing about it, is that if you're not using single premium life to help with your clients as an annuity alternative, probably something to consider right now. If you've got a lot of clients with money in annuities and you're looking for a way to kind of offset some of that tax time bomb, SPL business is much, much different than it was 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. We've got some of the best products that can fit for you there, and we've got some really great assistance in-house. I don't want to be arrogant at all here. I'm just factually, we're probably in the FMO world, probably one of the best in the single premium life business, because we are understood early on a little bit about the advantages to folks that are in the annuity business and how the SPL can be a great fit for that. And besides that, if you've got clients that maybe are concerned a little bit about some of the costs that they may incur from long-term care needs or from home health care needs, SPL, the products, like I said, they're quite a bit different. A lot of great things that we can do with those now that maybe we couldn't do 4 or 5 years ago. If you have some interest, just give us a call. Ask for Mark or anyone in the life department, and ask them for our single premium life kit, and they'll be glad to walk you through that. And I think now, hopefully, we're going to get on, there we go, with kind of the meat of the program here today. We're going to talk about Social Security claiming strategies with Dave Pimper. Dave, as I mentioned, is here in the office. I'm going to hand this off to him here shortly. But before I do, I want to put a little plug in for Dave, because I don't know that he's always going to toot his own horn to the level that he should. So we've been associated with Dave on the coaching side for about 8 or 9 years now. Had some great results across the board, but we've had none greater than what he's been able to accomplish with his guys on the Social Security claiming side and helping them grow their business through Social Security claiming. So if you're thinking about getting in the seminar business, want to dip a toe in, Social Security claiming seminars is a great way to do it. And when you have somebody that's currently doing it, I think that's important. When you've got the right tools in front of you, I think that's important. When you have somebody that can help you through the setup process A to Z, I think that's key. That's in our experience, that's really been the thing that's kind of set success, the right level of success apart for us. And so having somebody that can walk you through every single step, and he's got a staff of folks that can help with that, I think that's really the key to success here. And Dave's got a great crew that can help you with that. And so hopefully, as he walks you through the Social Security claiming strategies and how it works, you get to see a little bit about his level of expertise, but don't discount the value of having that his staff that can help you through, and himself that can help you through everything from getting it set up, finding the right venue, setting out the mailing for you, making sure that your follow-up is just right, making sure the seminar is set up just as it needs to be, making sure that getting the appointment is done just right, making sure that converting, and here's really important, the Social Security claiming, making sure that appointment is converted to the potential for a sale. All those things are very important, and having somebody like Dave that can walk you through, and his staff that can help walk you through every step of it, is really important. So with that, I'm going to hand this off to Dave. He'll walk you through a little bit of what he's accomplished. He'll talk a little bit about where he's been seminar-wise and why Social Security claiming has been such a great thing for his business. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dave Pimper.
Hey, thank you, Steve. Appreciate that's kind and elongated for an introduction. Yeah, my name is Dave Pemper, and I've been in the business since 1981. So financial services is what I've done basically my entire life, just out of 4 years out of college. Um, Social Security is a complicated subject, and I'll tell you that right now. And one of the things that I try to do when I teach Social Security claiming, kind of the rules, I mean, 2,700 rules with the government, they try to make it complicated. And so what happens is that what I want to do is today give you an idea of a little bit what it is like coaching. Now, we're not going to have the interaction. If you've got questions, you can certainly type those on in, and we will answer those at the end of the kind of the presentation. But we're going to take about a half an hour, 35 minutes, and go through some of the actual slides that I have with Social Security, which we use a third party on this. We use a horse's mouth, which has been around since probably for 13, 14 years. They're a financial service kind of a marketing informational article firm that also goes in and has information on Elaine Floyd with Social Security claiming. We used their third-party system. We didn't bring this in-house just because the cost of that is $512 for a year, and maybe $300-400 for a renewal each year. Very inexpensive for everything that you get, including the software to do all of your analysis. So let me just tell you, sometimes when I'm hearing a presenter on a webinar or a seminar, or on when someone's speaking to a group, kind of what their background is. I'm 61, going to be 62 next week or next month, excuse me, in April. And since I've been 25, I've been in the financial service arena. And what happens is that seminars, no doubt, has been my mainstay with marketing my financial practice. Now, I've coached or sales trained in the financial service arena for over 20 of those years, actually getting closer to 25 of those years in a lot of different roles. But I've always been a producer in the field, and that's been how I put the food on the table for my family. I still do. I love what I do. I think we're blessed to be in this industry, though there's no doubt that it is a changing industry. The DOL rules, and you don't think it affects the insurance part. It's called 8424 exemption. So that's like life insurance or fixed annuities or long-term care, disability. That has not got affected. But with the DOL rule, fixed index now has to have something called a BIC agreement, a best interest contract exemption. And you might say, you know what? I can still show that, and you absolutely can. And the DOL law now it may get delayed, which it has, looks like it's going to be. It very well could get repealed, but just I'll let you know that the fixed index is under the crosshairs of the security regulators, and before it's all said and done, there's going to be a lot more fiduciary handed out with products, and maybe rightly so, including insurance products, not just qualified products or retirement products. So one of the things is having, we know in this business, it isn't the rules or regulations that'll make us successful or not successful. It's getting in front of enough people, explaining to them of something that they just don't know about in financial service arena, of what's good for them and how it can help them, from a retirement standpoint. And that's really what I like about educational seminars. So again, if you've got any questions, certainly type them in, and we will catch those here in about 25 minutes or so. What baby boomers need to know to maximize retirement income, and Social Security certainly is one of those arrows in the quiver that's so important. I talk about 5 pillars of income. So we mail to ages of 58 to 67. That's who we mail to. So this is the pre-retired and just retired crowd. No doubt about it. But when they come in, and this is a non-dinner workshop, so when a person comes on in and they're looking at getting good, solid, professional, unbiased information, here's some of the questions that they have rolling around in their head. they're going to ask to themselves, I'm here because I want to know, when should I apply for benefits? I'm here because I want to know, I wonder what age is the best to apply for benefits. Coordinating benefits with my spouse. If I take early, there's a cost to it, right? But how much is that cost? If I wait longer to take my benefit, then there is a positive. There's an addition to my amount of benefit that I can earn. How much will it be? And that's what the software does. Survivor benefits, divorced benefits, which so many divorcees, either husband or wife, do not take advantage of. And the new Social Security laws, the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, yeah, how does that affect me? I heard they were doing away with all spousal benefits, which is not true. One of the many things, but probably the key thing that people are asking is, hey, will Social Security be there for me when I retire? Because, and I especially heard it, Chris Christie from Pennsylvania, when he was running for president, he was talking about how it's absolutely bankrupt. The system is bankrupt, or we're going to be out of money in the year 2033. He actually says it's bankrupt. Well, the funny thing about that, it's so incredible, because the Social Security Trust Fund has 2.8 trillion. That's T, like T, like a lot of money. 2.8 trillion in the trust fund. Now, what you might hear the naysayers say, but the government has borrowed from that, and they've got IOUs there. That's true. They have. They've borrowed from it. What's interesting about it is that you've got the strongest nation, virtually credit-wise, in the world. I don't care if it's AA rated, but it's everybody buys our bonds. And so what happens, if the government goes under or defaults on that, that means they're defaulting on many other things. We as a nation would be in terrible trouble. So, and remember this, Social Security is a pay-as-you-go system, isn't it? If you pay into FICA, any idea what FICA stands for? The acronym? Federal Insurance Contributions Act, FICA. Yeah, we pay in, don't we? We pay in to FICA for every single check that we get. That's a W-2, or you get if you're self-employed on a 1099. Yeah, you do. And so what happens is that with FICA, it's ongoing. So even if all of that trust fund would run out, and it's projected, if it doesn't change, which it will, it would run out in the year 2033 or 34. So that's 15, 16, 17 years down the road. But there still would be about 79 cents on the dollar from people putting into the actual FICA itself. So they're wondering, will it be there for me? And we're going to tell them. In the old days, I can remember hearing trainers saying you can scare your people by letting them know Social Security won't be there. When I was a kid, as anyone that's my age in the 50s or 60s or 70s, we all heard Social Security is not going to be there when we retire. What's there with 2.8 trillion in the trust fund? So, need to be tweaked? Yes, it does. But it's still the strongest social and the largest social program in the world right now. So just to give you a little bit of a background, we're seeing more and more articles like this. This happens to come from Kiplinger Retirement Report, December of a couple years ago, Popular Social Security Strategies Nixed. Yeah. They were nixed in 2015, maybe just a little over a year ago. Yeah. But what was nixed? File and suspend. Restricted has a much longer leg phase out to it. So why seminars with Social Security? Let me tell you this. If you've done a seminar in the past and you were unsuccessful, hopefully you're on this webinar today to get an idea. Is and I know of people who are very successful with seminars. Some of the people especially with fixed indexed annuities, some of the biggest producers are huge seminar providers. Just to give you an idea, I've been very consistent since the mid '80s, giving seminars. I got a seminar next month, two actually next month. Just got done doing a client event, which was I count like a seminar, which we had 100 people to on their client event at a restaurant, and had some speakers come in, and I spoke myself. And we've got Social Security workshops coming up in April. One is in March, and actually one is in April, the first week of April, that we hope that we can get 40, 45 people between the two nights. The reason that seminars do work, and the reason I've done over 435 public seminars, is because people are very open to get educational information. There's a fine line between being sold and enjoying to buy. My wife, believe me, and she was a broker. She still administers for me. But Amy, she loves to buy. She hates to be sold. And I can just tell that from the QVC bill that I get each month. But she likes to go in and get information. People like to buy, but they don't like to be sold. So those workshops are really set up much more educational than from a sales standpoint. You'll see the feeling of that. The new Social Security laws, the demographic target is very good if you work in the pre-retired, retired, and that's really who has the monies in the age demographic. There's no meals. Now, if you want a meal, you could. It's going to increase your return, but a lot of the people there they be there strictly for the meal. So I don't. I've never had a meal with my Social Securities. All my others I have with other types of workshops. Much more educational, less sales. We have them in libraries and colleges, some educational setting. I always say the prospects need us more than we need them. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I say. Pretty high conversion rate of getting the appointment, and then transitioning from Social Security to actually asking for the business. It's a fine-edged sword, and I've got it down kind of to a science as a perfect no, but it puts you on very much of a success track. So here's what we're going to do for the next maybe 10 to 12 slides. I'm not expecting that everyone will understand exactly everything I'm talking about. When we're coaching one-on-one, we take much more time. But I will say this, is that Social Security claiming, if you're not willing to do a little reading and a little study, and I always say it may be 10 hours a week for the first 4 weeks. That's about 40 hours. So if you go in 5 nights out of a week and you're reading Social Security, you're gonna know much more when it comes into the workshop itself. All of my slides have information, and when we're coaching, there's about 30 attachments that you get with articles and so forth. Everything we do, you get. So here we go. Remember, the basics of Social Security is that you have 3 important ages or dates in Social Security. There's a full retirement age. So if you're born from 43 to 54, your full retirement age is 66. And that's what I'm going to refer to full retirement age. Like I was born in 1955, so I won't be 62 until April. Well, I can add 2 months to me a year after 54. 56 born would be 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. 1960 or later is 67 as far as your full retirement age. A baby born today, full retirement age is 67. Okay. Most people you talk to, half will be 66, and then half might be a little bit 66, 2, 4, or 6. That's the first. So that's called full retirement age or normal retirement age. Then there's the first date you can start taking. It's at 62. The last date that you need to take, or you're going to lose the benefit basically until you take it, is 70. 62, 66, 70. Those are the 3 important dates. Now, it might be 66 2 months, 66 4 months, but 62, 66, 70. Everything starts from 66, your full retirement age. If you take earlier than that, the earliest you can take is 62. But if you take earlier than that, you're going to get a deduction in your income for life. If you wait after that, you're going to get an 8% increase for life. Okay? So 62, 66, and 70 are the important dates when it comes to Social Security claiming. If you take it 62, look at, you get a 25% discount. Yeah. So if you're going to get $1,000 a month, now you're going to get 750. You're going to get $2,000 a month, you're going to get 1,500. And then it goes up 5%, up 7%, excuse me, up 5%, up 6.7%, up 6.6, and then 6.7 to you get 100%. And if you wait longer, it grows 8% simple per year. Now, all of this has cost of living allowances, COLA. Last year or this year, it's only 0.3%, or I think it's 0.3%. So hardly anything is with the cost of living this year. It's very, very small. But what happens is it's been averaging probably 3% over the last 50 years, and it's a big deal when it comes to Social Security benefit. So spousal benefits work like this. Let's say John's, and PIA stands for primary insurance amount. PIA, primary insurance amount. That's the amount at full retirement age of 66. Jane's PIA is 800, John's is 2,000. So if you're married, as long as your spouse is taking their benefit, you can have all of your benefit or half of his or her benefits, the spouse, whichever is higher. Okay? So in this case, what's higher, all of Jane's or half of John's? Half of John's is 1,000. She gets a step up or a top off of $200. John has to claim for her to get that. That's how, in simplicity form, that's how a spousal benefit works. Now, divorced spouse, there's a triple play in the divorced spouse arena. Here they are. Your marriage must have lasted 10 years or longer. So if you're at 9 and thinking about divorcing, you got to stick it out. The person receiving the divorced spouse benefit is currently unmarried. All right? Ex-spouse needs to be at least 62. If those three things set up for you, you can use your ex-spouse. If you're unmarried, marriage lasted 10 years, ex is 62 years of age or older. You can use your ex just like you were married to them as far as benefits are concerned. As far as a survivor benefit is concerned, as far as spousal benefits is concerned, pretty cool. And if you normally can't use a spousal benefit on both ends, the two spouses, just one at a time, not with divorce spouse benefits. If you're both unmarried, you both were, of course, married for 10 years, both, over 62, you can use each other in each other's spousal benefit. So pretty cool. Yeah. So that's a divorced spouse benefit that many divorced spouses don't even know that they're entitled to. Survivor benefit, when somebody passes. So example here, and those are all fairly simplistic. We go into much more depth when we're coaching one-on-one, and the coaching is over a 5-week time period. It lasts about 45 minutes. The coaching is with me. We do it by phone. And what happens is that when a person can actually ask questions, well, how does this work? How does this work? How does this work? You mentioned this. How does that work? You really start understanding it much better. But survivor benefit, Joe and Julie are both married. Both are at least full retirement age or over in this example, okay? Doesn't have to be, but in this example. Joe's benefits $2,000, Julie's benefits $1,200. Joe dies. In my seminars, I ask the people, how often does the man die first? It's the majority of the time, isn't it? Yeah. First of all, in this generation, a lot of the men are a little bit older than what the woman is, maybe 2 or 3 years. Also, women live longer by 3 or 4 years. So that's a 6 or 7 year spread. But when I'm in a seminar, I try to keep it light because this is a heavy subject anyway. And I said, do you know why men die? The majority of the men die first? Because they elect to. Yeah, then hopefully people laugh. But it's fun to bring in stuff like that and keep it a little lighthearted. Remember, they're going to sign up for an appointment. Part of it is on what you know or what they think they can learn, but part of it is that they like you. They like you, and hopefully that like turns into trust, and hopefully that trust turns into a good financial strategy that they can use in their portfolio that can help them. And you've really made a difference in their financial life. So let's say Joe dies here. So that $2,000 goes away. Not all. Julie now has she has the option to keep her benefit and let her husband's go because he's deceased, or drop her and take her husband's. Well, if she drops hers, she can only take one of them, drops hers and takes her husband, that bumps up $800 of what she's getting. She would do that. She has to go in and request the Social Security Administration to do that. She has to go on notice that she wants that benefit. Why does the SSA, Social Security Administration, force her to do that? They hope she forgets. I've had people go 7 and 8 years that I've contacted that never bumped up off of a spouse has died. Yeah. And at the most, you can only get 6 months worth of retro benefit. All of the rest of that 30, 40,000 lost. Huh. Pretty wild. So that's how a survivor benefit works. Now, coordinating spousal benefits, this got a little tricky in 2015 for the Bipartisan Budget Act. What happened here is they had phase out dates for file and suspend and restricted application. File and suspend is much more indicative of what you do with the benefit itself, but that strategy really only about 15% of the people used. Restricted application was used the most. So what happened is the phase out happened for the file and suspend was done about a year ago. Okay, May of last year. If you weren't at least 66, you're done. So no one can use file and suspend now. It's done. It grandfathers. I mean, if you were already using it, that's fine. But I don't care how old you are right now. If you're 68, you can't do it. Okay. Restricted allocation had an 8-year phase out. So that's up to January the 1st of 2024. So as long as you were 62, basically by January 1 of 2016, 62 by a little over a year ago, then you can do restricted application. Like myself, I'm going to be 62 this April. Could I restrict my application? Nope. I wasn't old enough. Did I lose some money from that? Yep. But so be it. It is what it is. So restricted application works a lot like file and suspend. You're using a spousal benefit while yours is increasing in value and then turning yours on later. Okay. But what happens is that excuse me. What happens is that you have to be at least 62 to use restricted by 1/1 of 16. So let's kind of get an idea of how restricted application works. Restricted application. So this is pretty cool when it works. It's kind of like Cinderella's slipper. If it fits beautifully. And remember, if you have any questions on those, type them on in, and I am going to walk through those here just in about 10 minutes. So let's say that Mike and Mary are both 66 years of age. Okay, so they're full retirement age. You have to be full retirement age. One of you, the one claiming, has to be at least full retirement age. Not the spouse, but the one who claims. So, but let's say in this case, so there's not a reduction. Both Mike and Mary are 66. Mike's PIA, primary insurance amount, that's his amount at 66 is $2,000. Mary's primary insurance amount is $800. Mary files for her benefit at 66. They want some income coming on in. Since she's claimed, here's what can happen. Mike can go in and say, here's what I want to do. I want to restrict my application. I want to start it, but then I want to stop the benefit coming to me. But since I started in the eyes of Social Security Administration, I can go in and take Mary's a spousal benefit for Mary. A spousal benefit is going to be half of the $800. He takes $400 while his restricted application on the 2000, he's not getting any benefit from that. It grows 8% a year. Remember, cost of living is on top of everything, but 8% a year, simple. It's simple compounded. So what happens on this is, or just simple interest. So what happens is 8% on 2,000 is $660. So he gets 160 if he waits 1 year. He gets another 160 on top of that, 320. The next year, another 160 on top of that, 480. To get, see what's happening here, to 640. That's a lot of money. And on top of that is COLA. And then he turns his on at 70 years of age. Remember, you can only take one spousal benefit at a time. Now, Mary, who is at 800, all of a sudden now there's no spousal benefit being taken. What can she do? She can up her 800 now to 1,000, because that was Mike's PIA, not what it's grown to, but at the age of 66, whatever Mike's is, she can take all of hers or half of his, whichever is higher. Remember that spousal benefit? Yeah. How cool is that? That's really neat. So Mary, what happens is she's giving her 400 to Mike. That's 400 times 12 is 4,800, 19,200 over 4 years. So how cool is that? Restricted application. If you're 62 by on or before 1/1 of 2016, you can use restricted application. That's, and a lot of people think that has passed, but it is not. When you talk about the Social Security Administration, remember this. Here's what they can do and here's what they can't do. When you go down, I call the Social Security Administration, I know that they're doing the best they can, but they're very understaffed. And I hate to say this, but they're a lot of them are fairly ill-informed. You can go down to two different people and get two different answers. But they can estimate your best benefit right now. They can tell you what you're entitled to. You know what they can't do? They can't project future benefits through scenario planning like restricted application. They can't tell you to restrict your application. You know what they can't do? They can't offer advice. The Social Security Administration can just give out, like the old dragnet, just the facts, ma'am. Yeah, they can't offer advice. In fact, I took this right off of the Social Security taking a claim off of the administrational guide of the SSA. Look at D here. Provide enough information so that the claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. You know what's so beautiful about this? When you talk about Social Security claiming seminars, what do? We give advice. Yeah. We give advice, financial advice. And Social Security is one of the key ways that nearly half, if not more than half of the people rely on for their key income coming in after retirement. Very important that we give this information to them. I look at Social Security. This slide actually doesn't have this yellow sheet on, but that's my evaluation worksheet. Like you can tell here, I did it at Miller Library. Happened to do this on 2/8 of 2/16. This is and I've done some, of course, many since that. But yes, I would like a consultation. No, I wouldn't. This slide right here is what really kind of brings everything into play. And then we hand this out at the end for them to fill out. So we get this the appointment right at the workshop, date and time of when they want it. But I talk about the 5 pillars of income. Work, so that's, what income do you have coming in? What pensions, if you're fortunate enough to have coming in? RMDs, required minimum distributions at age 70 and a half. Income producing assets, so personal assets, brokerage assets, bank assets, retirement assets, IRAs, 401ks, SEPs, simples, deferred comp plans. And then Social Security. I always say Social Security is the most flexible of all of those. Yeah, they're the most flexible of all of those. So what happens is I tell people here, you know what, there are many times where people take Social Security early, and they should not. Because what happens is it might be worthwhile to take money from your retirement plan and not take it from Social Security and let the Social Security grow. Because how much does it grow to? Yeah, It grows 8% a year in COLA. That's basically 10% a year. It grows on an average. Well, that's guaranteed by the U.S. government. Well, how the heck is it is your stock account or your bond account, your real estate account? How's the guarantee there going for you in a down market? Not good. So what happens is that I say that it's the most flexible. I mean, what can you really do if you're making $50,000 a year and you're in your 27th year at the firm or 30th year at the firm? It's not going to jump to 100,000. Or your pensions are pretty well set in. RMDs are what they are, coming out at 70.5. You can't negotiate those less. Income, pretty much all of your income, unless there's an inheritance or you win the lottery, you're not going to go in and increase by a huge amount your investments. But Social Security, you know what? With the COLA up 3-4%, going from 66 to 70, you can raise it between 40 and 50% your income guaranteed. What a deal is that? So I always want them to say, if you haven't thought about that, might be a good time to mark yes on the consultation form. So as we're kind of finishing on up here and type, we're going to have a poll here just in a second. In the poll, we're going to talk about if you'd like to have a consultation with myself. If you mark yes, Craig Jones, he's a full-time administrator. Amy Pimper, my wife, she works part-time. One of those two will call and line up a 20 or 25-minute appointment with myself on the phone, not with one of my cohorts, but with myself. And we'll talk a little bit about how maybe this can come into play. People they want this information. But we do a third party, like I said, and part of this is the calculator. They've updated it 2 or 3 times. It's very high tech. We got a contact person that can walk you through with horse's mouth. Cost of that's $512. So there is a cost for that. Nothing really comes for free. With myself, I've got over 435 public seminars. I mean, I'm pretty good at what I do. It's not a perfect science by any mean, but what happens is that it's a very, very good system. And so what happens is that there's a proven invitation. We coach for 5 sessions, Mike, and I make money from coaching. So I don't make money from specifically an override or something like that. And so what happens is that I get paid $150 per coaching session. But IAMS comes in and pays for $555. The FMO, okay, that Steve Murray was talking about, they have a scholarship. And then what happens is you pay $195. So it's very, very reasonable, okay? Proven transition language of how to go in and get control of those assets. No meal, which is important to some people. It's really not to myself, though I never do have a meal on those. And then ongoing and support from myself, from Craig, and from Amy. You know, we do a lot of the back office for you. We don't do the call outs, but we help you with the demographics. We help you with the invitation. We have a special invitation that we use that's very, very good. So before we put this poll question up, and I'm going to just give you a second to kind of think about this. I probably have never had anyone ever come to me and say, Dave, you know what? I've made so much money from procrastinating. It just hasn't happened. And so what happens is that people who take action are the people who make money, who are successful. And I'll say this right now, is that seminars are still extremely viable. There's actually less people in the seminar business now than there was 5 and 10 years ago, mainly from compliance. This is a FINRA reviewed workshop. Okay, so if your security license, and again, if your securities license, in fact, I'm doing a DOL workshop here in 2 days on Thursday that you might want to sign up for, talking about broker dealers, the fixed indexed product, talking about the difference between an RIA and the IAR, the different licenses, the 6, the 7, the 63, the 24, the 65. I mean, all the different licenses and what they do. So what happens is that one of the things that you really don't want to do is procrastinate. There's no saying, and I do it at the end of most of my workshops and webinars, but it says procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Well, tomorrow never comes, does it? It never comes. So what happens is that as we're finishing on up here, we're going to go in and put the poll right now, and then I'm going to jump this back to Steve Murray, and then he can kind of sum this up. I would love to talk with you. I've been in the business for 35 years, whether it is with Social Security seminars in general. If you're securities licensed and happy with your BD or your RIA, there are insurance and fixed index friendly that we work with that might be great information for yourself. So I'm going to hand this off to Steve, and hopefully you'll mark yes, but Steve will kind of give you a little bit more insight on that.
Thank you, Dave. It's been interesting listening kind of from the outside to this webinar. So great job as always. Good stuff. So a couple things, and I kind of mentioned a little bit at the outset that I thought it was important to have a coach along the way. And I believe that Dave is probably as good as any coach there is out there, not just for this subject matter, but particularly for this subject matter. So done a great job. He's had great success on his own with doing Social Security claiming seminars. He understands the entire process, which is really important. The part that I most got calls on from guys that maybe worked with other groups was, how do I do that? How do I transition from talking to him about Social Security to actually doing business? Dave has got that solved. That's been probably the biggest single thing that we've been able to say to guys, and it has made an impact on their business, is, how do I make that switch over? And Dave has got that right down to to just the right formula for success, and that's really important. So we believe that to be successful in seminars, you have to have a coach, and we know that if it's any coach is better than none, but to have just the right coach can make all the difference in the world. So if you have interest really in joining in and maybe having the best potential coaching out there that there is for this particular subject matter and for this particular process, I don't know that there's anybody out there that's better than Dave. And if the question that's running around in your mind is, why do I want to do this? Then the answer, I think, is quite simple, is because you'll be talking to just the people that you want to talk to about just the thing that you want to talk to them about. So you'll be talking to those folks that are close to retirement or right on the cusp of retirement, and you'll be talking to them about how their retirement income is set up, how they're set from a financial standpoint, kind of the income and outflow. So you're really talking to them just about just the right thing. And so when you put those two things together, having the right subject matter and having the right person to walk you through it, I don't know that there's a better choice for you out there. So it looks like many of you have voted, and that's great. There are still a few of you out there that have not, and so I'll give you a few minutes to do that. And I'm sure Dave has answered any questions that may have come up along the way. But let's see. Let me just have a quick look and see if there are any more that haven't maybe been answered. So there are a couple that have just added on here. One of the questions was that if you've missed out on a portion of the meeting, yes, you will receive a recording, so you'll be able to go back and listen to it. What will happen is you'll receive an email after the event here, and it will say, if you would like to listen to the recording, simply click here and it'll take you to our YouTube channel. So there's a number of questions here about kind of the financial part of it. What's the, how many pieces get mailed, how many people attend, how many of those that attend make appointments, how many of those that make appointments end up in sales. Dave, can you, while we still have this poll up, can you maybe walk the folks through those answers?
Sure, Steve. And this will be from a generality, because some of those who bring in quite a few clients, in some it's less, but on an average, okay, what happens is that we mail out 6,000 pieces. Those 6,000 pieces are going to run 55 cents each. So you got about $3,200 wrapped up. Now, I do social media also to try to bring in another 10 or 12, but that's $500. That's strictly up to yourself. So you're going to have somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 worth of cost. So this is not for the It's not for the faint at heart. I mean, no doubt that you've got to invest money to make money. The big deal is getting people there, and what we want to get is 40, 45 folks there. If we can do that, I can get 26 or 27 buying units, and doing that, I can get 12, 13 appointments. 12. If I have 12 or 13 appointments, there's just hardly. I shouldn't say there isn't anyway, but pretty tough not to go in and do business once you're in front of 12, 13 appointments. So I always like to have at least 10 appointments or more. And from that, you've got to understand if you're at 6 or 7% on a fixed indexed annuity, you can go on in, and once you're doing about 50 to $60,000 worth of business on a fixed indexed, then you basically have made your payment. Okay, so what's the cost? It's the mailing. It's the mailing. I mean, we serve Cokes, cookies, and coffee, so about 50 cents per person that comes, another 20 bucks. There could be a cost of the room, like we have to have a library card to get into the Omaha Public Library, so I have to pay for that per year. But very little cost. It's the mailing that costs so much. There's no meal. So that's helpful, okay? So what happens is any other business is just purely gravy, and what you're going to find is the average person, the average education, the average wealth is higher of the people that come, because most people start taking Social Security when they retire or at the age of 62. So those folks are a little bit unique in they're a little higher educated. They are truly trying to plan, which most people don't do, for their financial success, not just now, but down the road, how it all works together. And Social Security claiming is a big part of that. So what happens is my goal from a workshop is $250,000 or $300,000 that I bring in from one mailing. And then we have 2 workshops in one mailing. So you can, and you know what? And I happen to work securities also, but whether it be fixed indexed or single premium life insurance, or whether it is a security product, I mean, whatever the financial strategy that you're using, what from an investment standpoint, we call it, assets under management. And I'm not talking about just strictly fee based. I'm just talking about just money we're working with. Yeah, 250 to 300,000 is what I hope. And that's what we've had come in. Have I had much more than that in times? Certainly. Have I had less? I have from time to time. But remember this, if you're thinking of doing one and done, I'll try it one time and see if it works. I'm just going to tell you right now, just remember this. Your very first seminar that you do is your worst one. The second one you do is your second worst one. The third one you do gets to be pretty darn good. By the time you do your fourth one, you're probably at 85% or 90% of what I'm doing. And now you probably have also seen 15, 20 appointments and asked Social Security questions, and you really are getting the feel of Social Security. Has it been really good for my practice? And not just mine, but many of the people that are working with the workshops right now, it certainly has. Is it simple? No. You got to put some work into it. But is it rewarding? And it isn't just for us. It's rewarding for the people we're working with too, because there's only about 15% of advisors that actually understand this. And I'm talking about Merrill Lynch advisors, UBS, or big Morgan Stanley advisors, Edward Jones advisors. Yeah, this isn't just from an insurance standpoint. So you're kind of the go-to person in your area for Social Security. So I kind of got windy there, but I just want to let you know, I think that it really has a big impact when it comes to income planning. So here is one more. It says, I didn't catch who is the Social Security training provider. So Dave Pimper, and that's myself. I'm the one that goes in, and I'm the human being that does the day-to-day. I've been in business since 81. So it was Social Security for 5 years now. I can remember when I was just brand new at this, but for 5 years I've gone in. And then Horse's Mouth is who the PowerPoint, who the analysis and some of the reading material of 300 pages of reading material is through. And they're very good. That's why I elected not to take it in-house, because it was going to be pretty hard to duplicate that type of professionalism on a third-party vendor. Yeah. Okay. Real good. So I'll appreciate it a lot. Hopefully you marked yes. I'll give this over to Steve.
And as we close up today, as Dave said before we put the slide up, this is not a good time to procrastinate. There's a lot of opportunity out there right now. There's a lot of folks that are entering into this need for Social Security advice and leadership, and their guidance isn't available in places that you think it would be. And they're really going to be dependent on folks like you. So having that expertise is going to add to your practice. Being able to do seminars, this is a great, easy way into the seminar business. There's no easier seminar to do from what I've seen than the Social Security claiming seminar. So hopefully it's something you can take advantage of. Appreciate everyone responding to the poll. We just had a couple of you that didn't, which is great. If you were unable to respond to the poll for whatever reason, I hope what you'll do is give us a call here at the office. Again, that's 800-255-5055. You can certainly ask for me. My name is Steve Murray. I'll be glad to put you in touch with Dave and his crew. Great folks over there at Lazarus Coaching, know exactly what they're doing, work with producers just like you every day, helping them to grow their business. So with that, I'm going to close up. We've ran just a little bit over, as we are prone to do whenever I'm speaking. And so I'm going to let you all go here right now. And what I want to do is finish up with just to thank you again for joining us today. I know you've got a lot of things to do with your schedule, and I hope that this has been beneficial for you. If there's a way that we can help you here at IAMS to grow your business, that's why we are here. Give us a call at 800-255-5055. Have a great finish to your sales week, and please give us a call with any questions. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody.